Welcome to the Do Zone, where real entrepreneurs share real strategies about getting things done. I'm your host, Josh Thomas. Tag me at JT Literally and show me what you do in the Do Zone. Every week, I'll pick the best post to feature across all my social networks. This podcast is brought to you by Factor One. If you're a six-figure entrepreneur who's looking to hit seven figures this year, there are three key shifts that you need to make right now in order for that to be possible. Go to iamfactor1.com now, and I'll show you exactly what those three key shifts are and how you can get them set up in your business in less than 6 minutes. Once again, that's iamfactor1.com. Today's guest is Harry Spaight. That's Spaight like straight. Harry Spaight, a renowned sales consultant, author, and keynote speaker, prioritizes service over pushy tactics in his unique approach to sales. Drawing on his mission, background, and extensive experience in competitive sales, he offers valuable insights to improve sales performance and drive substantial revenue growth and performance. Harry, welcome to the Do Zone. Tell me something you believe is the key to getting stuff done that most people wouldn't think of.
I'm going to go with keeping an open mind with technology. A lot of people my age feel like technology is a little bit too new for them, but we can have a growth mindset, keep learning new things, and get more stuff done by using technology.
You know, truer words have never been spoken. First of all, you don't look a day over 29, so I don't know what you're talking about. So, but in the last few months, the world was turned upside down by this thing called OpenAI and ChatGPT. And a lot of people were scared of it. And they said, oh, no, it's going to ruin like all these jobs or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, it's not there to take your job away. It's there to make your job easier so that you can focus on higher level tasks. I'm curious, you led with this. So there has to be some example that you have of embracing technology and that changing the way that you got things done. Tell me a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, the apps that I use, like for instance, I use ChatGPT 4, and I thought the same, not that I thought that the world was coming to an end and everyone was going to be run by robots. Think about back 100, not that we were alive, but around 120 years ago, there were tons of blacksmiths, people that shoed horses, people that did all kinds of things that were for the world at that time. When the automobile came around, do we mourn the fact that the blacksmiths had to find other work? I think they did. And this has happened throughout history. The typewriter salespeople, they had to move on. We constantly are moving and changing. And so when something's new, we might have a tendency to say, I like the old way. But if you look at what we can do with technology today, I suggest that we adapt to it because it's not going anywhere.
No matter how mad you get, it ain't going anywhere.
That's right.
That's a really great point. You know, 120 years ago, blacksmiths were threatened by the automobile. And you know, let's say 50 years ago, gosh, it's been that long, you know, typewriters and those sorts of things were starting to get threatened by personal computers. And the internet was supposed to ruin humanity. And that didn't happen. And so it's not so much that we're displacing hundreds of millions of people. It's just that we're kind of forcing them to move a little bit to the right or to the left. And it's not going away. I mean, you just like you said, we can't stop this march forward. We can get angry about it, but that's a waste of energy.
Exactly. I mean, think about, obviously, we used to go to this store called Blockbuster and looked at VHS tapes, you know, like all the franchise, all the stores, all the employees, all the people manufacturing VHS. Did they just die? Or did they find something different? I'm thinking they found something different.
Yeah, they probably weren't sitting there in the, you know, in the bread lines or anything. I'm sure they just found another job or something. So there's always going to be something to do. And you brought up Blockbuster is a great example, and it's a now famous example of not embracing technology because Netflix was offering to sell out to Blockbuster in around the year 2000, I believe. They were offering to sell out to Blockbuster for, I don't know, $50 million or something like that. Blockbuster said, no, that's stupid. We're good with what we got. And they were not willing to embrace this new way of doing business, this new technology, which ultimately turned into streaming, which ultimately ran them out of business. And that's the, hey, we're good with what we got. If you believe that, with as fast as technology moves today, you will very quickly become a dinosaur.
Absolutely. I mean, think about the ego that gets in the way of businesses making progress. So that was a very egotistical decision to say, we're not going to spend 50. It sounds like a great idea. And looking at the future with the computer and the internet, you would think that would be something that people would want, but huge companies. I mean, Kodak was another one. Looking at the digital camera, said, nah, we're going to stick with the film. Because this stuff that's easy and people don't have to buy film, that would hurt our business. And instead of capitalizing on it, they stuck to their old ways. Ego got in the way. And where's Kodak today?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
No clue. And so one of the skills that we have to develop as we're starting to evolve, like if you are in some sort of role that can be replaced by a machine or a robot, you're going to have to find something that requires humanity. And one of those skills that requires you being an intelligent human being is sales. And this is something that, you and I have spent a lot of time doing. I've been doing this for more than 15 years, and it is a skill that will never go away. It is a skill that will never be replaced by a robot. No matter what you see on your Facebook newsfeed about AI closing sales for you, I've yet to have an AI person or an AI robot like close a sale for me. And so it still requires a human. It still requires that human touch. And talk to me about some of the strategies that maybe you have started to develop over this time and what you tend to share with your clients.
Some of the strategies regarding the technology, or
I'm sorry, that was my way of segueing into your topic of sales. So
okay.
Yeah, so I know that you are a sales expert, and so what are some of the primary strategies that you recommend for your clients just starting out so that they can improve and boost their sales?
Right. Okay. Sorry about that. Yes. So it's all about, to me, is about this, as you said, this personal connection. You see, CFOs would love it if they could train everybody to say the same thing and people would react the same way to everything that was being said. It just doesn't work that way.
Oh man, that would be so good though. That would
exactly.
That would make
you
my
say
life so
this, the person will buy.
Yeah. Say these 5 words, collect the credit card.
Yes. Right. We need this. The offer is going away at midnight tonight. Please give me your credit card. And that always works.
I always thought that it was hilarious when I was in sales roles and I had a sales manager and they were like, hey, let's see if we can close. You got 3 calls set up this afternoon. Let's see if you can close at least 2 of them, and I'm like,
yes,
man, I try to close everybody I've talked to, right? It's my job.
We are actually trying to get the business, but that's a great idea. Just to ask for the order. I mean, brilliant. I never thought of that one myself.
Why don't I close the deal? Sounds great, man.
And then just saying you need to close something, like the person who is living on commissions doesn't know that they need to close something. So yes, I have been there. I might have said a few dumb things along the way like that, but you just get caught up in the moment. But really today, we've moved into a world where people can buy from anywhere, anybody. They don't need you. We're not anything special. And what can make us special pretty quickly is if we connect with people. So if we do things for others, we have a servant mindset. We are permission-based selling, which is what I believe in, asking permission to sell versus leading with yourself. You lead with the other person and look for ways to provide massive value to people, and people will like you And when they need what you have, they may buy from you, but there are no guarantees, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's right. And it takes the ick factor out of it. I got approached from a guy, we're in the same mastermind together. We had connected, and then out of nowhere, dude sends me like this giant DM about some real estate investing something. I don't even know what it was. And I told him, I'm like, well, first of all, most of the stuff that you're writing to me is actually breaking securities laws. So you should redact that. Secondly, don't just like throw something at me, my face, without like asking me if I'm even interested first, like buy me a sandwich, and ask me if I'm interested in real estate, or maybe ask me if I know something about real estate first before you're just blasting this stuff at me.
Exactly. Right.
And it takes away, he could have given me the same information, but I would have received it differently if he had said, hey, Josh, how's it going? Man, I'm getting into real estate investing. You know anything about that? Actually, I know a lot about that. That's cool. What are you doing, man? Well, I'm doing XYZ. By the way, I don't know if this is interesting to you, but I have a few opportunities. Now I can say, yeah, send me what you got.
Right.
And I'm receiving that same message that you just sent. That's what it's like, those extra steps, right, Harry?
Yeah, well, you just nailed it with the, especially the last portion where you said those extra steps, because people want to take the shortcut. They'll say things like sales is a numbers game. If I flood the market, someone's going to raise their hand. If I send out 8,000 emails, someone's going to raise their hand and say, that's me. But the problem is people are going to view you as a person that's always selling, and you don't really care about us. So if we don't want to do business with you, we're not going to. Instead of building the trust and relationship where you can say, not now, Josh, I got a lot of other things on my plate. And now there's respect and we can have conversations, future conversations. But if you're going to lead with, you're going to get me to try to invest in real estate every time we chat, sorry, we're going to move on. We're going to part ways.
So what would you say if we were to kind of break this down into top 2, 3, 5 steps that somebody would need to take in order to make that shift? Because I know that there's probably a lot of people listening right now that are trying to figure out, well, I just can't get anybody to say yes, or very few people will say yes. And so what are some tips that we can insert in the middle here to make us more human and to get that permission to sell before we just go out and try to make the sale?
All right. So the first thing is to really think of the person that you're speaking to as another person and think, how can I provide value for the person across from me? So instead of trying to close the person, think about how you can provide value. So suppose the person is in real estate. Maybe you find some article or a podcast or something that's valuable about real estate and share that with the person. Add value to their lives. And when we do that, there's this law of reciprocity that very likely they will ask us about what we're doing and how they can serve us. But when they see that we have this giving mindset, they're more inclined to do business with us. This is, if you follow Gary Vee at all, Gary Vee talks about the 4 jabs and the right hook, which is provide value 4 times, the 5th time, ask for the business or ask for and make an ask. Alex Hormozy, another very wealthy individual, just says, I just keep providing value and people will raise their hand. He's not flooding the market with, you have to work with me. He's providing value and insight so that you can follow these people, him or Gary Vee or others, and learn stuff and be, improve your life by following them. And, that's really the first step, is really to find ways to provide value for the person across from you. And then good things will start to happen.
Awesome. And so we've provided value and we've given them some sort of education. They feel better. They've made more money. They've become more fulfilled because of our presence. How do we translate that now and transition it into an opportunity to present our offer and make a sale?
Well, in this permission base, you might ask someone along the lines, do you know anybody because they might say, well, what can I do for you? I really like what you're saying. We might come back and say, well, do you know anybody that could benefit from hearing what I do or having a conversation with me? And then as you're having these conversations, same deal, provide value. And someone's going to say, well, yeah, that person would be me. I need that. Right. Because they recognize the gaps in their life. But the simple thing where people are not, where we feel like we need to up the pressure, who wants to feel pressure as a buyer? Zero
not me.
people, right?
Not
Nobody.
me, Harry.
So when you're upping the pressure, increasing the pressure, you're pushing people away. So the much better thing to do is to have more conversations. My guess is you don't have enough people in your, if I can use the word sales funnel, in your pipeline, in your group of potential buyers, whatever you want to call it. You don't have enough people in there that are raising their hand because, you just aren't speaking to enough people. That's simple. We just need more prospects is really what it comes down to.
And so tell us a little bit more, Harry. I like that, by the way, of, hey, do you know anybody this might be interesting to? And because it's a nice indirect approach, you're not looking into and saying, hey, do you want to do business now? You're saying, hey, do you know anybody else that might be interested in this? I love that. And so tell me a little bit about what you do and who do you help and how can they connect with you?
Yeah, I work with small business owners that are looking to make an impact that just don't want to feel gross about selling. I think you use the ick factor, which is perfect. But if you're feeling like ick or sales is gross and you need to grow, then let's have a conversation. Those are the types of people I like to help.
Awesome. And where can we learn more about that?
Sellingwithdignity.com is the easy place. And there you can get a free download of my book if you hit the book page, and you'll get a free download of several chapters and see if that makes sense. But it's really a permission-based, non-pushy approach to selling and making decent incomes without the grossness.
Awesome. Harry Spaight, thanks so much for coming on here and sharing your wisdom about how you get things done. For those of you who want to connect with Harry, you can go to sellingwithdignity.com and you can get a free gift of first few chapters of his book. So we're going to wrap from here. Thanks again to Harry Spaight for coming on. You can connect with him again at sellingwithdignity.com. If you listen to us on your morning commute or your workout or you're somewhere out in the field, be sure to snap a selfie and tag me at JT Literally. Tell me what you do in the do zone. Also, if you're ready to break the 7-figure barrier with your business, but you know what got you here ain't going to get you there, we can help. Go to IamFactor1.com now and see how much impact we can make in less than 6 minutes. Know this, you are Factor One for your own success. Now let's get to work.